Rap battles, this legal fight is off the charts. Fat Joe, hip-hop heavyweight, just his ex-Hypeman Terrence T.A. Dixon with a lawsuit for defamation and extortion. Why? Dixon went public, accusing Joe of being a claim Fat Joe calls not just false, but here's how it went down. Dixon, who worked alongside Fat Joe for over a decade, says Joe owes him money. When talks went nowhere, Dixon and his lawyer Tyrone Blackburn allegedly started upping the ante, posting wild accusations online and threatening more unless Fat Joe's not having it. He says this is a desperate scam and calls the whole thing criminal conspiracy. He's lawyered up with Joe Tacopina firing off cease and desist letters and promising to clear Joe's name in court. So now it's not just bars being traded, it's legal blows. Fat Joe says he's innocent and he's taking this all the way to expose what he calls a deceitful plot. Drama, money, and reputations. This is one hip-hop battle you don't want to miss. Stay tuned for the next round.
So yeah, man. So he's trying to collect money, and also he's calling the rapper I'm not gonna say the word pedo on social media, and that's making Fat Joe very, very angry, and that's why he's really trying to sue his former ex-Hypeman. So go ahead, Ronnie. What's your take?
See, here's the thing: is that's the whole thing. Drake is having an issue right now with remember Kendrick Lamar, and also what it is Universal Music Group is because of that word pedo. That word people shouldn't be using that word. Very unlikely, because remember, someone like Fat Joe, who was allegedly was in the streets, he knows that word doesn't do well. When you call somebody that word, it stays with them for a very, very long time. I'm not gonna say the word, especially here on the podcast, and I know we're not gonna say it either. But at the same time, there's some level of integrity. Now, if you owe the person money, pay up. But don't go around giving somebody a false allegation, especially something like that. Because now, what Fat Joe is trying to do is, since you want to put defamation of character, now you got to prove it in court. And there's no way for him to prove that because they're no longer friends. So how can he prove that? He got to prove it in court, and chances are he's going to lose because you don't have the type of money Fat Joe has. But people need to stop using that word around, man. That's a powerful word at the end of the day. Go ahead, Hakeem. Your commentary.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Like, this is kind of like weird for people to do this, but this is just a tactic most people try to use to defame your character to get you to pay. But the thing is, I would say to Joe, feed the wolves. Why is you a millionaire and this happens in every industry in entertainment? If you with somebody and you don't pay him, feed him. To leave this off your books, you don't even got to pay that much. And reason why I say I kind of believe this issue that he didn't pay him, because Joe had issues with another case, allegedly. You know what I mean? With Big Pun's estate, where one guy came out and say this. So it's just that I just say, to avoid all of this, just pay the man. But I don't agree with him slandering his name.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when it comes to some or most of these rappers, there's some rappers who got people in their corner, entourage, with the hype man or everybody, like a 50 Cent, his hype man was Tony Ayo, he made sure he was very taken care of. And you got other people, who might have a hype man and don't pay him jack nothing and everything because they think they're not as the same height as the star is or the rapper is and everything. So when it comes to with this Fat Joe's fullness, his former hype man and everything, for me, I just have a feeling that Joe is not. I'm not gonna. I don't really don't know, but what Hakeem said, he had another situation, so this just shows some proof that Joe might not pay a lot of people, but if that's the case, if that's the case and everything, Fat Joe, if you would have paid this man before, wherever you owe him, before he put this out, this wouldn't have been a big head news that we talk about right now and everything. But yeah, I don't agree that with his former husband calling him names and everything. Now you're going too far. You're definitely going too far. And I would hate somebody would call me that type of name either. I'll fight for mine. I will fight for my name. Just to prove that, hey, I'm not owe you anything or anything like that. So when it comes to the